How many moons does Saturn have? Here's the wild answer. 274 confirmed moons. Yup, Saturn isn't just the ring king, it's the moon boss of the solar system. Jupiter sits at 95. Saturn, 274. Quick story time. In March 2025, astronomers confirmed 128 new, tiny moons around Saturn. The IAU Minor Planet Center made it official on March 11, 2025. That one announcement alone pushed Saturn's count into the stratosphere. So how did they do it? Smart hacks and patient watching. Between 2019 and 2021, an international team used the Canada-France-Hawaii telescope to stare at the space around Saturn in ridiculous detail. They grabbed a ton of images and used a trick called shift and stack. Translation: you predict where a faint object should move frame to frame, shift each image to follow that path, then stack them so the moon's signal adds up while the background noise cancels out. Do that a lot, and poof, what was invisible pops out. Led by Dr. Edward Ashton, the team turned up 128 new moons. All of them are irregular. Think lumpy, potatoey chunks just a few miles across, not neat spheres cruising along Saturn's equator. And here's the juicy science. Their orbits tell a crime scene story. Many of these newbies fly retrograde, meaning they orbit opposite Saturn's rotation. A big share belong to what's called the Mundilfari subgroup, basically a family with similar orbits, likely born from the same smash-up. When you map these orbits, a pattern jumps out. As recently as 100 million years ago, a larger captured moon probably got wrecked, moon-on-moon violence, spraying shards that became hundreds of tiny satellites. That's why so many are small and clumped into groups. If that breakup were older, these little guys would have crashed, merged, or been flung away by now. So why does Saturn hoard moons? Massive gravity, a bustling neighborhood, and time. Reality check. We might be near the tech limit for finding even smaller moons out there. As Dr. Ashton has said, with current tech, we've pretty much squeezed all the signal we can around Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. To go deeper, we'll need bigger mirrors, sharper instruments, or cleverer algorithms. But for now, the scoreboard is clear. Saturn, 274 confirmed moons. Jupiter, 95. Everyone else, not even close. From Titan, the giant smoggy world with lakes of methane, to tiny ravioli-shaped oddballs, Saturn's system is a playground of extremes. So next time someone asks, how many moons does Saturn have? You've got the mic drop. 274. And we found a huge chunk of them by stacking whispers of light until they shouted. If you want a deep dive, I'll pin the sources and the discovery announcement date, March 11, 2025, down below. Stay curious. Space is noisy with secrets if you know how to listen.
In the vast, cold expanse of our solar system, beyond the asteroid belt, past the colossal presence of Jupiter, orbits a world shrouded in mystery. This is not a planet, but a moon. A moon so strange, so otherworldly, it challenges what a moon should be. It hides behind a thick, impenetrable orange veil. For centuries, it was just a point of light, a companion to the ringed jewel, Saturn. As telescopes grew more powerful and spacecraft more ambitious, we began to peel back the layers. We named it Titan. It beckons, a cosmic enigma promising answers. Imagine a sky not blue but perpetual hazy orange. Sunlight struggles to pierce the atmospheric blanket, casting an eerie dim twilight even at high noon. This is Titan's everyday reality. Let's put Titan into perspective. With a diameter of 5,152 kilometers, this moon is a giant. It dwarfs our own moon, and even surpasses Mercury in size. If Titan orbited the Sun alone, we would call it a planet. Its gravity lets it cling to a thick, soupy atmosphere. A first key fact: planetary scale. Its defining feature is that thick, orange atmosphere, not a thin exosphere. A substantial blanket of gas composed of about 95% nitrogen, the same gas that dominates our air. The rest is mostly methane with traces of other hydrocarbons. Surface pressure is about 50% greater than on Earth, like standing 15 feet underwater on Earth. A unique analog to the early Earth and a dynamic active system. Titan is the only world besides Earth with stable surface liquids. But this is not water. On Titan, the rivers, lakes, and seas are filled with liquid methane and ethane. It rains methane from the orange clouds, carving river valleys into ice as hard as granite, pooling into vast lakes and seas. A familiar hydrological cycle, reimagined in hydrocarbons. Cassini used radar to pierce the haze and map these features. Vast, dark patches clustered near the poles. Kraken Mare, Ligeia Mare, Punga Mare. Kraken Mare is larger in area than Lake Superior. Not ponds, but deep seas with coasts, islands, and possibly waves. Imagine a boat sailing on a sea of methane. Our first direct contact came on January 14, 2005. ESA's Huygens probe detached from Cassini and began a perilous descent. For 2.5 hours it drifted, snapping pictures and tasting the air. It became the most distant landing ever attempted. The data was a revelation. Alien yet familiar terrain, a dim floodplain strewn with rounded ice pebbles. It landed with a squish on damp, sandy ground. Pebbles of water ice, tumbled by liquid over eons. Huygens was a tiny laboratory packed with instruments. It sniffed nitrogen, methane, and complex organics. It measured temperature, pressure, and winds, and confirmed methane at the surface. Together with Cassini's long-term views, they painted a portrait of an active, dynamic world, with a real methane cycle shaping its surface. Titan is a world that begs for a return visit. Their data gave us foundations and profound questions. What is dissolved in those methane seas? Are complex reactions happening on the seabed of Kraken Mare? Does a subsurface ocean of liquid water hide beneath the ice? Could it host life as we know it? Answers demand that we go back and stay longer. NASA's Dragonfly, a nuclear-powered multi-rotor drone about the size of a car, able to fly kilometers between science targets, then land, drill, and analyze the building blocks of life in a world stewing for billions of years. It could search for biosignatures and probe the methane cycle, expanding the limits of where life might be possible. Titan offers a window into our origins and the chemistry that preceded life. The next chapter is about to begin. On Saturn's most famous moon, Titan.
Quick space pop quiz. What's Saturn's most distant moon? It's not Titan, not Iapetus, it's Phoebe, way, way out there. Phoebe orbits about 12.95 million kilometers from Saturn, roughly 8,050,000 miles. That's about 3.6 to almost 4 times farther than Iapetus, the next big one in line. Imagine Saturn as a stadium, and Phoebe's out in the parking lot, circling the whole venue. Here's the twist. Saturn is the solar system's moon champion. 274 confirmed moons as of March 2025, after a massive batch of 128 new ones dropped in a single announcement. That's almost twice as many moons as all the other planets combined. So why does Phoebe stand out? Because Phoebe is an outsider. It probably didn't form with Saturn's regular family. The best evidence says it came from the Kuiper Belt, way beyond Neptune. Likely a captured centaur, an icy rock wandering the outer solar system. Saturn's gravity snagged it and pulled it in. That capture flung it into a distant, retrograde tilted path, a weird orbit that screams, "I wasn't born here." Size check. Phoebe's about 213 kilometers across, so not tiny but not a giant either. It's the most massive of Saturn's irregular satellites, and it's different on the inside. Roughly 50% rock, more than the inner moons. A dark, dusty surface just a few hundred meters thick, hiding loads of ice underneath. Cassini flyby images showed crater walls with bright patches, like someone scraped the soot off to reveal clean ice below. For over a century, Phoebe was the outermost known moon of Saturn. In the 2000s, astronomers started finding even smaller, fainter moons farther out, too tiny and dim to spot earlier. So today, think of Phoebe as Saturn's most distant major moon, the big, famous outlier anchoring a swarm of faint irregulars. And that swarm tells a story. There are way more small, irregular moons than big ones, which hints at a breakup event, likely a collision in the last 100 million years. Something slammed into a moon out there and scattered shrapnel across Saturn's outskirts. As of March 2025, 210 of those irregular moons don't even have names yet. Space is messy and still very much under construction. Phoebe doesn't just orbit, it sheds. Micrometeoroid hits knock dust off its surface. Those particles spread into the Phoebe ring, an enormous, ghostly ring tilted 27 degrees off Saturn's main rings. It stretches from about 128 to 207 Saturn radii. Phoebe itself cruises even farther out at roughly 215 radii. It's so faint we only found it with the Spitzer Space Telescope in infrared. Invisible, but colossal. So what is Saturn's most distant moon? Phoebe, the captured outsider, the dark ice ball with a secret ring, the clue to a violent past on the far edge of a giant's empire. And with 274 moons and counting, Saturn's not done surprising us. If Phoebe taught me anything, it's this. In space, the weird stuff at the edges often holds the biggest answers. Subscribe for more cosmic oddities. I've got a list.